line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up.
You can feel the intensity. You can cut it with a knife here down in Stafford Springs, Connecticut. And today we are about to present to you some of the hardest charges, some of the toughest racing. It's time to get down to business here on PTM Racing TV. Welcome to Stafford Motor Speedway and the Misfitz iRacing League. Now we'll have to face the challenge down this half mile. Hi everyone, I am Christian the Crusader Shriver. Joining you guys here today at Stafford Springs, Connecticut. It's time to see ourselves some hard racing, hard charging. As we have already prepared from qualifying, we head into our heats to start this one off. So let's get it down here as we start on the pole. Royce Scaravano in the 76 is your number 1 qualifier. The number 1 seed is outside. Ryman Castle in the 1. Row 2, it's Joe Lux there, and the number 04 is outside. That's Ethan Harrison in the 77. Row number 3, Brace Collins in the 5 is outside. That's Race Bible in the 08. Row number 4, it's Joshua Ingram in the 56 is outside. Owen S. Collier from the UK and Ireland in the 7. And then final star, Zach M. Woods in the 61. Field preparing for our first heat out of the gate here. Drivers ready to rock and load, ready to reel and deal here out of the track. Field going to make their way off down around the corners here, down the back straightaway here, as looks like our cameras had a little malfunction there. Don't worry, it's nothing to be worried about. Doesn't happen often, but you don't know when it'll happen. Well, presented by the Keystone Corner, this is your first race of the day, the first heat. It's about to take place here now. Let the green flag drop. We'll start him off the gun right out of the gate here. Ryman Castle, the 1, getting a little bit of a hard charge there, trying to get right up there with Royce Scaravano. His drivers are already all over the place here for the first set of corners. Ethan Harrison ends up in the grassy plains of the infield here of the back straightaway. Meanwhile, you saw that 08 Race Bible spinning right off of turn number 2. You got to be careful. These tight corners. This is a tight playing round track. There is a little bit of an embankment there, but it's not much for these super lates. You better be careful about trying to drive too far up the hill. You got to stay a little bit lower, kind of stay towards the groove, the center off area as the 5 of Bryson Collins defends off the 45 there. Right behind him, unfortunately, troubles down for the number 7 of Owen S. Collier, who's driving actually in the 45 today. Joe Lux in the 04 trying to make a move off here as he has to deal with the 56. Joshua Ingram right behind him. We'll go on board here. As you can see, just diving in that deep, going that high up, you better be diamonding these cars off to try to get some speed back up into the run and hope to find some speed and momentum here around the corners because it's so difficult to do. Looking at this from the starting race anyway, right now it looks like Ryman Castle having some problems trying to catch up there with Roy Scrivano. Scrivano had such a huge lead out of the gate. You can see he's already losing a little bit in the turns. Scrivano just taking it nice and easy off the exits here. You see him just kind of powerhousing that exit. Not really trying to drive too hard. He's driving more conservative and more on the relaxed side of things, keeping it ahead of that number 1 of Castle as we got 3 laps left to go in the first heat. Ethan Harrison, despite that little spin and that little tumble, McFumble if you will, the Calisonic number 77 is still going to try and drive this thing into the ground here. He's got Race Bible in the 08 right behind him, still piloting the Ukraine Killers in the 08. Showing his pride and support there to that country and the people around there. Our best wishes and hopes to all of those involved. As we have now 2 to go, turn that into 1 flag going down on the gate. 1 lap to go here as we've got a battle here with Joe Lux. Taking it right to Collins there off of turn number 4. Ho ho! And Collins about taken for a ride there off of the front, off turn 4. Thankfully, no harm, no foul. Coming to the checkered flag though, it's going to be Roy Scrivano starting on the A main pole. Ryman Castle goes second. Third, we'll go to Brayson Collins. Fourth, Joe Lux. And fifth, Joshua Ingram to round out your top 5. And heat number 1 results now pop up on your screen, presented by the Keystone Corner. Roy Scrivano is going to win this first one. Ryman Castle goes second. Third goes to Brayson Collins. Fourth, Joe Lux. Fifth, Joshua Ingram. That rounds out the top 5 here. Then we'll set the field back up in pace and in position as we now prepare for your grading order of heat number 2. On the board will be Jordan Riddick there in the 15s outside. Jimmy Gawker in the number 2. Runner 2, excuse me, it's going to be Timmy Spats in the 54 is outside. It's Noah Healy in the 81. Row 3, sees Nick Biddy in the number 32 in this one, and is outside that will be Jaden Russell as he pops the 42. Row number 4, Quentin Haley in the number 13's outside, Joseph Davidi in the number 6, and final starter is to be Ryan Dyer in the number 83. That will round out your field here for this next set. And we're going to have to get that technical difficulties ironed out here, of course, on the page. See if we can get that squared away. There we go. That's a little bit better. You never be too sure anymore, like, what's going to happen on that end, if it pops up wrong or if it just pops up right. If you guys are new to the channel here, of course, on PTM Racing TV, be sure to hit that like button and also hit the subscribe button here on our show. So you guys never miss a beat, you never miss a track race here. We got a heavy ounce of Chargers here today, ready to bring it down and bring it down to the table here on the show. Certainly looks to be a hot one and a hot start here. And we're ready to get back down to business as always. We'll have 8 laps here in this next heat. The driver's getting prepared up for the battle at hand here as we come off the corners of number 4 here, the 15 and the 2. We'll line us up into position, set the tone for heat number 2. We're off and running. Dyer will not make the call. And out of the start here, a little cleaner out of the gate. Can they get through the corner? Yes, they can. Coming off down the back straightaway here. A little battle here between Timmy Spats and the 81 there. Oh, we got one flipping right upside down there. Noah Healy upside down in turn number 3 and 4. Healy goes for a wild ride off turn number 4 and ends up sent down to the shadow realm there. I don't know, but maybe that was The 32, Nick Mitty that got him. It was Timmy Spats in the 54. Kind of hard to tell from that angle. But you saw one of them just driving in deep while he was trying to hold the line. Took a bit of a ride there. MRL coming on board, St. Patrick's here. We're trying to hopefully get some crowds and fans on by. They're saying thank you for the support. Thank you for coming into the show. Thank you for MRL for having us come on by and showcase Stafford Motor Speedway for the very first time here on PTM Racing TV. Not very many short tracks and oval tracks we have left that we need to show, actually. And a few of them, I'm not going to spoil anything, are on the schedule here. Oh! And you can see right there, my friends, Joseph Davidi, problems down there and major problems down there for Jaden Russell. These drivers are struggling to get these things to line up and stay under control, and they know it. I think a lot of that has to do with just the way this track configures in, the way it kind of runs around this place. You've got to be very careful and keen on your movements and your travel speeds. The key to success here is very easily. Use your brakes when you need to entering in a turn. Give a little bit of throttle rhythm into the turn. Stay as close as you can to that apron. And then as you come off, kind of launch it in that diamond formation. To then get a maximum amount of speed you can get. It's very difficult on the long run because, again, this track, with it being a half mile, it burns up corners and it burns up speeds here. Keystone Corner also here for the race tonight. Thank you again to them sponsoring the show today as well. 2 laps remain here as we're now piling up here down to the line, down to the finish here. White flag is out. And Jordan Riddick leads the charge. The number 15 driver right now. He's just like Royce Gravano when it came to his heat. Looking solid as can be. Looking like a tough hombre here today. This could be his day. It could be his night. We're going to find out later on today as we go to the finish line. Checker flag flies. Heat number 2. This one goes to Jordan Riddick. Second goes to Jimmy Gawker. Third, Timmy Spats. Fourth, Quentin Haley. And fifth, Nick Biddy will go out with the field. As Riddick will go ahead and put that thing down in pit road. The heats have now completed, I believe. Which means we should be heading off into the warm-up session. Yes, we will be now. So let's take a look at the results here on the PTM Racing TV scoreboard for the Keystone Corner. Presenting this one, Riddick, Gawker, Spats, Haley Biddy. They are top 5. The rest of the field are going to have some work to do. Come in that main event here. So we'll take a look as time progresses on how this one goes through with the field. But this one certainly is going to be a driver's paradise or nightmare, depending on how you look at it. They have 4 minutes and 30 seconds to get the practice they need in, get ready for the main event coming up. Our good friend Stop and Go Penalty Show, come on by. They're saying going to be a good race. Stop and Go, is great to hear from you, sir. Good to hear from our folks down there. Of course, good to hear from all the folks that have come on board. And race fans, tonight's race again, presented in part by our very good friends over at the Keystone Corner. If you guys have not already, well then you're missing out on quite the show when they go live on their YouTube channel. Be sure to check them out on YouTube at the Keystone Corner. A big thank you to them for sponsoring and supporting this show and supporting this race. We look forward to more future races. And you can just see just kind of that trail in there. Actually, I'm going to give you guys a little blip cam view here. Take a look when they enter into those turns here. You may have noticed some of that track spot right there. You see where that rubber is laid down at? That's where their speed's going to be built up most at, because that's where they've hit the most turns, the most sanctuary hits at, and that's where they're running off at, except for Ethan Harrison. I don't know what he's up to. But watch the 56 here, Joshua Ingram. Watch how he kind of takes it cornered off, very smooth, very controlled. You see him just kind of rubbing it right on that black tarmac where the tire burned up and the rubber has been laid down. The more sticky it gets, the grippier it becomes. And with the heat here, down, of course, on the Stafford Springs, Connecticut side of things, man, that certainly definitely plays into a factor. Let's take a look at our track tech talk here presented by the Keystone Corner. Weather today is pretty fair here, temperature-wise, only 71 degrees. Not bad. It's about what it was here in Iowa here for today before I flew out here to Stafford Springs. The wind about 5 miles north. So that's a little bit of a rough ride there, not too bad. So track conditions wise, they're about as even as a queue as they can get for our normal races. And also, this being a half mile, you just know this thing is going to take some drivers to their limits, take them to their fullest potential. It's a tight corner track. It's a tight battle facility track. There's no real bankments in these turns. So what the drivers have to do is they have to rely on skills, wits, and speed to hit their marks, to hit their shots. That's not to say they can't drive a little bit more of a diamond edge and kind of go up towards a little bit higher on maybe around that second line, but you're going to see a lot of drivers staying towards that bottom line, sticking towards right in the middle of the first line as they shoot off the turns. You see the 6-tier Joseph Davidi putting up there. But really, I think Noah Healy is doing right now, this is exactly what we're going to be seeing a lot of drivers doing for the long haul and the smart run here. You can see how close he takes this corner. You can see how close he takes the runoff, and then watch how he diamonds it off. He just kind of gets a hard runoff on the exit. Really burrows at speed, really makes that momentum kind of stick to the ground. This is what you need to do here at Stafford. It's very much what the Whelen Modified Tour, as well as the late models and street stocks do here on a daily basis with the actual races they do here at Stafford. So, there's going to be a lot of corner offs, there's going to be a lot of hard entries and a lot of harder exits, but the thing is, you don't want to overdrive these corners because that flat spot down there on the exits, well, let's just say it'll test even the best of drivers, and they know it too well. So currently positions now getting cleared up here. Final positions now have been restored. We have only 50 seconds remaining. Stafford Motor Speedway as well kind of hosts a big part in the Whelen Modified SK Modified Tour Series. It is actually one of the most famous landscapes for all of the Whelen Modified Tours, but street stocks run here on a daily basis here. The super late models, of course, visit from a time. The late models visit here quite a bit. You see that little infield quarter mile though. That of course is for the Legends car as well as the Mini Series. Generally, that's more or less for the kind of kids kind of run and trap their skills, get better as a driver, and figure things out. Whereas that big outside oval is where the best and the brightest drivers must learn to craft skills and craft their power and control of a race car and learn how to wheel with the best of them. Yeah, it's a tough facility. I absolutely love it here, and it is one of my favorite places to go watch some racing at. As we're about to now take center stage, take center shots. The time has come. We are now ready for tonight's main event. So let's get them going. Let's get them on the go. Let's see on the pole. Royce Gravano, the 76 is going to be your number 1 seed, is outside Jordan Riddick in the number 15. Row number 2, Ryman Castle, and the 1 is outside Jimmy Gawker in the 2. Row number 3 is going to be Brayson Collins, and the 5 is outside Timmy Spatz in the 54. Row number 4, Joe Lux. In the number 04, it is outside. That will be the 13, Quentin Haley. Row 5, Joshua Ingram, the 56 is outside. That's the 32, Nick Biddy. Row 6, Ethan Harrison, the 77 is outside. The 42, Jaden Russell. Row 7, Race Bible, the 08 is outside. It's the 81, Noah Healy. Row number 8 is Owen S. Collier for Ireland and UK in the 7, baby. He'll pilot the 45 actually, and his outside is Joseph Davidi in the number 6. And race fans, they come from all walks of life. They come from all walks of racing to present to you the show. It is time for the Super Late Model Series at Stafford Motor Speedway. race fans, if you wanted some tight corners, some hard racing action, I think you came to the right place. The time is here, the time is now. Let the race begin at Stafford Motor Speedway. Here we go. We'll get them through the first set of corners here. Drivers already looking for positions, trying to jockey for a run. They're hard on the charge already, and there's drivers already having problems. We got problems at 3 and 4 here. The 42, Jay Russell, and the 32, Nick Biddy colliding in on the first set of turns. And just like that, things get a little bit crazy on these parts of town here. Unfortunately, the 32 getting kind of clipped in there, having some problems down on the early go. Let's take a look at the PTM Racing replay presented in part by the Keystone Corner. And it looks like the 08 there, a race Bible clips the 77 and gets into the 32, and the 42 had nowhere to go here, unfortunately. Race Bible will receive the EOL penalty there. He is not to be playing those kind of games around here. One more look at it here. You can see he dipped in there. He looked for the run. He goes 3 wide, but that's a no man zone. That's no-go zone. You don't try to drive it in that deep. Not without some room. Unfortunately, the 08 did not find it in time. Field will have to get stretched back out of position here. They'll double file them up yet again here. Get ready for the next round of this one. One more time by, then we're going to go ahead and turn the lights off on the pace car and let the drivers fight it out amongst themselves. Yeah, we've seen many winners here on the show. We've seen Ryman Castle pull it off. We've seen Royce Gravano. We've seen Jimmy Gawker do it. We've seen Timmy Spatz up in that fight before and really put on a fight here in the series. I'd say probably more than anything, though, the one driver you have yet to see, in my opinion, pull off the W, pull off some positions and race wins is definitely Quentin Haley in that 13, as well as that 04 of Joe Lux. Two heavy hitters, in my opinion, that have not been able to get the W when it counts and really get that momentum brewing their way. I think it's only a matter of time, really, but the thing is, they've got to be very close cornered, very heavy set on their runs if they want any chance to do it. This being a 125 lap pace here at Stafford, again, there's going to be a lot of pacing, a lot of tempers, really flaring. If you ever thought about what it's like at Bristol Motor Speedway, this is pretty much the flat banked end version of Bristol, to be honest with you. Those that know how to drive this track, they can make a living at it and pretty much sell it for millions of dollars, if you will, on YouTube, or sell it for a bunch of money on Flow Racing, depending on what you want to call it these days. Because this place can perform and show you guys some of the best races and the toughest battles ever that I've ever witnessed on the show and ever on any track for that matter. And of course, if you don't believe me, well, just ask SRX that, because they are returning here as well, coming in the summertime here, which I don't know why you guys didn't go to Knoxville, but that's beyond the point. Well, anyway, drivers now single filed up here. I guess we're going to go ahead and switch them out to a single file restart here, awaiting our green flag restart zone. They'll fire them down and we're going back in it. Jordan Riddick here having a little bit of a company position here from Ryman Castle in the 1. Royce Gravano takes the early lead. Drivers deep, digging in deep, looking for some momentum to stick with. No, Healy moving through the chains. Oh, Healy though, right into the wall protection off turn number 4, and he goes for a ride and a half. The right side clipped in. He had nothing left to give. Jammed the entire car in the wall protection, wall righted it up, and that thing went straight into pit road. And Noah Healy cost himself a lot of time here. He's going to get put a lap down, unfortunately, due to that circumstance. If he's not too careful here, Royce Gravano and Jordan Riddick are catching up to him. And now this is where the toughest part of racing here at Stafford Motor Speedway comes into play, is the overall distance between having to separate yourself from lap traffic to then having to separate yourself from the leaders. Riddick knows this, so does Ryman Castle. We go on board here with the number 1. The #1 pregnant infancy lost #1 machine trying to show a little bit of race, show a little bit of love down here. As right now, currently they move the field, move through the charges. Joe looks here already making some big moves coming up through the field now, looking to make a charge off on that 13 of Quinn Haley. Oh, and the 5 there, Bryson Collins going for a huge hit. Ditto, just like Noah Healy earlier on. And Collins, well, he's gonna have to cut through the track a little bit, but he's gonna get a penalty for that one. But they will only get him so much of a time zone there. You saw him literally smack dab on the wall as Joe Lux pretty much caught him right in play. And I think my broadcaster curse might have got the better of the 0-4. My apologies there, Joe. The 6 of Joe Davide trying to make a move on both drivers while the 0-4 Lux tries to make a hard hit back in that fight and in that fray. Well, one of my guys I picked here is not doing too bad here. Quinn Haley in the 13, currently solid in 6th here, trying to catch up there with the 54 Timmy Spatz. Spatz looking to make him work for this one. Just maybe think about this a little bit here. Not giving him an inch here as he rocks the old red, white, and blue, number 354. It's Mustang versus Chargers and Camaros around these parts. Feel kind of separated out after that little hiccup there, that hard balance, hard corner exits here. Ethan Harrison bobbles it off of turn number 2. Now costs him a lot of time here. It's now the 42. Jaden Russell, he smells an opening on the bottom. He charges it. And the 56S here of Joshua Ingram in trouble. Ingram opened the door like a thief of the night. The 42, Jaden Russell snuck him on by. But look at this crossover entering into turn number 2. This is the beauty that is Stafford. Tight racing means tight corner exits and tight hits like that. And look at this. The 45 of Owen Nescalier gets smacked down right in there with Russell. And unfortunately, the 45 ends up almost upside down, but they come away clean. Well, how that 45 didn't go upside down is beyond me, but good Lord, man, that was a huge mishap there. Almost skyrockets it into the grassy plains, almost going for a wild ride there. Taking another look at it here from the Sam here. We'll take another look from another camera here in a minute. It looked like the 45 drove it up a little bit at that 42, and yeah, if you want to talk about realism, that's pretty much about as realistic as it gets here. I've seen cars do that plenty of times, not just on dirt, but on asphalt and here at Stafford, of all things, too. I'd say it's about as realistic as it gets when it comes to someone actually wrecking out like that. That was a pretty wild ride, though, on the end there for the 42 and the 45. One more look at it here from the onboard camera of the 42. He took a huge hit there from Ingram, actually. Ingram gave him a little rub and bump. He did not give him anything. You can see a 45 just lifted right up, and this is literally the scariest thing is when you can see literally the inside of that suspension. At that point, you're just thinking, like, what the heck am I seeing? And you realize, wait a minute, that's the actual inside of the car. What am I doing? Well, race fans, drivers are going to get squared away again here. We'll put them back in place and position. Plenty of action here still to come here on PTM Racing TV. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you in part by the Keystone Corner. Be sure to check them out on their YouTube channel at the Keystone Corner. Give them a like, give them a sub, tell them PTM Racing TV sent you on by. A big thank you to the Keystone Corner for presenting and sponsoring this show. We certainly hope to see more of you guys and then some, and hopefully you show some love to our boys at the Keystone Corner. Field's going to get squared away right now. Still double filing up here from that little headache and wreck of a position. As you're now coming in, folks, if you guys haven't already, share the stream on around. Tell your friends, come give us a like, come give us a sub. Try to get as many people as you can on this track and on this place zone right now. We've got a lot of heavy hitters that came out here today just to race in front of you fans out there and in front of you folks out there to come put on a show. And again, guys, a little sorry and apologies there for the comment section there with that little spam thing we got going on. Believe me, we're trying to find a way to get rid of them. Hopefully, we figured it out now. All right, let's bring her down off of corner number 4. This time on by. Royce Gravano sets the field, set the run into motion. We're back underway. Oh, look out down here, turn number 1. We've got a pile up on I-35. Oh my. And a huge wreck ensuing here. Hey, wait a minute. Hey, easy, Ethan, easy. Did we not just go through this last week? Oh my goodness. Well, I think Ethan wasn't too happy with that 0-8. I'm not sure if that may have been payback for earlier. We saw there was a receipt given by the 0-8 to the 77 earlier on in that third corner. Well, I'll take a look at the PTM instant replay here. It looks like Ingram came into a dead stop there, and I think the 77 thought that the race Bible really sent it right at him there. And then, well, I'm not going to say anything here. I'm going to keep my mouth shut about this. I've said my piece already about this at Phoenix. You guys know what I've said. If you didn't, you guys can check the look at that. But, yeah, I don't know. We're going to take a look at the 56 here and see what happened exactly to his end there. It looked like he did not get off the line. Well, there he goes. There's a blink there. And it looked like the 32 actually just drove right into him. Ingram, surprisingly, the one that's pretty much got everyone kind of wrapped up and put in position for that wreck there. He's actually the one that kind of came out of it cleanly, if you know. Not how often I say that around here on PTM Racing TV. The driver that got spun usually comes out clean. All I can say is, though, is that 0-8 of Race Bible and that 77 Ethan Harrison definitely, shall we say, have a little bit of history and a little bit of a problem down there with one another, I'll say. Yeah, it did their stop and go penalty show. It did. We saw it right there with the 56. Pretty much got clobbered in there. But again, I think Ethan thought that 0-8 did it to him again, because remember, it was the 0-8 of Race Bible in turn number 3 that clipped to the 77 of Harrison, and he did not like that whatsoever the first time. So maybe in Harrison's mind, he thought he did it to him again. And obviously a little retaliation. He did not like, still probably has a little bit of a heated score back at Phoenix from last week, of course. But nevertheless, drivers are going to try to get this thing squared away here and try to get things figured on out. I said I'm going to try to keep my pride to myself, and I said I'm going to try to keep my words close. But I swear, if they do something here, man, I will not hold back on them. That was just maybe one incident. That's racing. I'll give them that. But I know you can't settle in the infield. Set it in pit road instead of the cars. But that's still, again, my pride gets the better of me. I'll admit that up front. Anyway, let's get back down to business off of corner number 4. Flying back up into position. Royce Gravano has the race lead yet again. This time a lot cleaner, a little more stable. Oh, trouble down there though for the 54. Him and Ryman Castle are slowing down a little bit. They open the door up. Quentin Haley sneaks his way on by. Penalty show saying bad coincidence. Yeah, pretty much at that point. And again, in racing, you don't have spotters here with these guys. Literally, they have spotters, yes, but that doesn't mean they're going to tell you who got who. They have to race their race, and pretty much on a short track, sometimes you literally go after somebody like that. I've seen it happen plenty of times before. I've had one guy who literally got out of the wreck. He didn't even know me. He was on the front straightaway. He asked me, he was like, "Who wrecked me?" And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, really, I did know. It was just I didn't want to say. Tried not to get him too riled up. It happens all so often in short track racing. It's just short track flare-ups. And, well, I'm not going to say anything there, but it looks like Bryce Bible and Ethan Harrison are going to be pretty much having to resort their little rivalry back here We'll see if Harrison keeps himself out of trouble, at least that Nissan Calisonic number 77, but I guarantee there's probably still a little warfare in his mind. Stop and go wants to see some green flag runs. Well, we're getting it right now. It's Gravano, your race leader. Pilots this thing down in position here. He has the race lead, and I had to jinx it. Well, problems down there for the Corey Clark Electric number 32. Nick Biddy gets sent back to the back, kind of sent down to the shadow realm. Something gone wrong there for the 32. The PTM Instant Replay presented in part by the Keystone Corner. And this one's going to look pretty wild on your screen, so be warned. Take a look at this coming off turn number 2. Drives it right up, and Joe Lux, oh my gosh. Joe Lux kind of getting it right in, and I'm not sure if he was trying to flip him back over or what the heck he did there, but hey, it worked. That may be the most weird. That may be the weirdest way I think I've ever seen a driver flip someone back over or try to get a little payback at him. I don't even know what to say to that. I know we're on iRacing, but still. It looks like 32 drove up a little bit while he had the run. Joe Lux, unfortunately, didn't really have anything to do. Well, you can see he tried to flip. You see, intentionally he did it. He lined it up. I mean, hey, at the end of the day, it did flip the 32 back over, so I guess you can't be too mad about that, but still, I mean, that's kind of those weird angles you don't really know how to call it or really see it through. Caution tracker now tells us here we are at lap 36, the 4th caution of the day here. Well, Scarvano, that Z-Whiff 76 was at 15, and Jason Riddick, or Jordan Riddick, excuse me, in the 15, and then the 2 of Jimmy Gawker. Still trying to make some moves, trying to make some runs off here, and trying to get everything they can around the track. We'll pile them on down yet again here, get these drivers squared away, back on the show. Off of corner number 4 this time, back on by. We're going back racing. Those restarts are treacherous, my friends, because you literally have to try to find an opening and trying to find a seam to get to that bottom, but then that's when things get a little bit crazy around here as the field starts to sway in more as we go here and getting closer in and around the track on the fence as we go. Every single driver now looking for opportunities to strike, everyone looking for a huge hit, a little runoff zone. And we got a 3 wide soon entering off turn number 2 there. It will clear out those. A 45 of O&S Collier and the 56S of Joshua Ingram. Going right around. Oh, Harrison. Well, give him credit. At least he had good restraint backing off. Ingram and Collier collecting each other down off of turn number 4. Both drivers collecting a little bit of worlds colliding. The Dark Horse camera on board here for the 13 of Quentin Haley now shows just what that number 13 is trying to do to that number 2, Jimmy Gawker. Gawker trying to hold down the line there in the Camaro machine, that Chevrolet Camaro, as both drivers get a little loose, over throttling it down on the end. Continuing to pile up the momentum on around the track, continuing to keep up distance, keep up the show. Joe Lux here, after that little tough break he had earlier on, seems to have now kind of get himself in a little bit more of a controlled environment. Seems to be stabilizing the car down, seems to be a little bit more under pressure, under towed, as you see a battle going on between Timmy Spatz in the 54 and the number 1 of Ryman Castle. And look at the brake rotors on that rear end of that 54, man. Those rotors are breaking hot here. Oh, a little trouble down there. Looks like Ethan Harrison and Brayson Collins get into it here. And drivers right now trying to get out of the way of mess and trouble here. That's a wild, wild little pitch there. Let's take a look at Brayson Collins' little wreck here and see what happened to that number 5 machine. Looks like Jaden Russell saw an opening, had to go for it, trying to get around, and oh man, Harrison just clipping that 5 hard on the exit there. Looked like the 42 really had, oh, hold on a minute. Hold on, we got something to show here. When that wreck happened, let's take a look at this. 42, Jaden Russell, actually, he overdrove and got clipped in pretty hard there. Kinda did to himself, though, unfortunately. It just looked like he was trying to get away from people and ended up smacking him dab in the wreck here. Let's take one more look at it from his onboard camera here. This is leading up to the moment here. And again, this is just hard charge, and this is good momentum and good control and stability, but see him just wheel that thing in. And again, it's such a tight corner track, there's just nothing you can do about that. There's not a lot of breathing room. And you can see Russell, he thought we were going to stay green, charges it quickly and hard, and ends up getting collected by Collier. Collier today, man, I know he traveled all the way from the pond across here to get with us. Across the pond, I should say. But that car, I swear, has been tore up and destroyed more than I think he's going to have taking it back across the pond. Not quite halfway there just yet, though. The field will try to work their way all in after a 5th caution. Royce Gravano, the Z-Whiff 76, trying to hang in there with Jordan Riddick in the 15, as well as the 2 of Gawker. Race fans, tomorrow night we will have the night off with Spartan Night Racing IROC Challenge Series. They're going to rest up for their big races coming up, as their All-Stars race will be on the 24th, so stay tuned for that. But on Friday night, we're returning with Backfire Sim Racing. It's time for the Bristol Night Race on the show. The 19th we'll have off, and then on the 20th of March, get ready for a triple header, because we're going to North Wilkesboro, we're going to Homestead Miami Speedway, and we're going to Atlanta Motor Speedway for the triple header there. And then on March 21st, the return of Green Mountain Grills as they take the Atlanta Motor Speedway to the showcase of the track with Fast and Fun Cup Series following on that 22nd day. And then, of course, Misfitz Racing League next week return, as Lanier National Park will be on the show, and that will round out your field and season for this week coming up. Alright, field got to scratch back on in here. We're going to get ready to get back down the action, back down the hard racing here. Field looking to skirmish, looking to get positioned in for another hard charge, a little hard racing action. Off a turn number 4, though. We'll line them back into position here, get them ready to go back at it again. Coming right around the corners here, exits in position, drivers looking for position, jockey for the run, trying to dive it down quickly, but you see they have to back off those exits, entries there yet again. It's so difficult as a driver because you just don't want to go and try to push yourself that hard to the limit that's going to end up costing another driver, but at the same time, you got to find a way to make room and make position for yourself. This isn't an open wide embankment track. This is a track you've got to literally finesse it on. You've got to be more close cornered with each other, and you got to remember, there's bumps, there's rubbing, there's racing, and this is the perfect example of that. That's why I love watching these races so much, and I love coming to this place when I can. I would love to visit it sometime, actually, if I ever get down to Connecticut. Quinn Haley in the number 13 machine trying to put the dark horse right at the 2's rear end here of Gawker. Gawker trying to keep him online, keep him in play. We're taking the onboard camera here as we start to move the chains in. Race fans, I think it's about that time and it's about that place. If you guys are ready for it, let's do it together. Stay with me now. Let's take it down and crank it up. And how about this now, late in the run, late in the charge now, we've got a battle for the race lead. Roy Scrivano opened the door up for the 15, and Jordan Riddick got the opening he was looking for at last. Scrivano may have drove a little too hard on his own set of tires, may have cost himself some time here. The 15 of Riddick now taking full advantage. Riddick trying to hold that 76. Obviously, the 76 Scrivano, though, he's getting a lot of openings to just put that bumper right into his corner panel. And that's scary as far as when you just leave that slight bit of gap, that slight opening around this rack. It literally just spells doom and disaster for most. It could be a very tricky little circumstance to be put into. But he knew it. He got out of it. And that's exactly why he's trying to stay close cornered and close on the throttle. Every driver for themselves here, neither one giving an inch though as we start to build the piece in. The speeds just consistently are just going to get tighter and tighter and harder to really control and master around here. And I think a lot of that just has to do with the overall consistency the tires do with these tracks. Again, on asphalt, you got to remember the biggest thing you got to worry about besides track conditions starting to get a little harder on yourself is when the tires start to break down. And this is the reason why you see literally what may have been an easier turn earlier on a fresh set is now becoming a handful to hold on the line to for Ryman Castle because he's burnt the tires in so much. The rubber's laid down. It's starting to slick up, starting to get a little harder to control. This is where things just get harder and harder to master around and really figure out. Because guys are just driving so quickly, so deep into these turns and these situations. That's where things just get completely out of hand. Absolutely nobody leaving anything out on the track, though. It's been all fights, charges, and runs for the tracks here. Racing season here, and of course on our end, as well as Stafford is coming up here in IRL versus in iRacing wise, so definitely cannot wait to see the season coming ahead and coming to a close here. This league here, of course, really bring us some memorable moments, and really the biggest thing I think this league was given to us is the show of new tracks and new worlds that we have yet to discover here on PTM Racing TV. It's always a pleasure to see that, always a pleasure to get a taste of it. And I'm glad we finally got a chance to see it all kind of come up into fruition. It was a long time coming, but at least we got it down as we got problems down there for Gawker and Harrison. Uh-oh. And, well, I think Gawker got one at Harrison now. I'm just going to say this. I don't think Harrison's making too many friends out there. Definitely a lot of drama out on the track, though. I think I might as well call Harrison the Paul Tracy of the series. Okay, well, I will say this. I don't think it was totally Harrison's fault there. Hard to really say on that one, but Gawker definitely was not too thrilled with him. Let's go to the onboard camera here, see if there was contact made entering into that turn. Or if Harrison did lose it in the turn. Oh, there was definitely contact made. I'm not really going to agree with Gawker on this one. I can understand frustrations, but I do not agree with this little move. That kind of falls on him that time. He did kind of punt the 77, and honestly, the car is actually in pretty good condition, so I would not have damaged it any more than he did. So we'll see if that comes back to haunt him, or really it comes back to give him a bit of a headache here. Not a smart move, though, in my opinion. Definitely a wrong move, if you ask me. Should have left the car alone. The Keystone Corner saying, let's go, green flag racing, boys and girls. Well, we had a bit of a green flag run there for a while. Quite a showcase there from the drivers. They're definitely showing you they can do it. They can get the job done. It's just, unfortunately, they have to kind of endure and really push through and fight through a few of these kind of scenarios and hiccups around the way. Race fans, when we come back, there's more action to be had. There is more to be seen. We're past halfway. Someone is going to figure out this one. Well, ladies and gentlemen, tonight's race presented in part by the Keystone Corner. Again, a big thank you to them for sponsoring and supporting some of the races this season and the show today here at Stafford. Again, guys, if you haven't already, head over to their YouTube channel and give them a like, give them a subscribe, and show them some love. Tell them PTM Racing TV sent you on by. The Keystone Corner, a big thank you here, and a big thank you for everything you've done. We'll certainly hope to see you down the road. Again, the Keystone Corner, they are presenting the show. A big thank you to them. So Jordan Riddick right now is your race leader. Bryce Scavano here going into pit row. Got himself kind of cleaned up a little bit. Riddick and Haley going to go at it a little now. And Quentin Haley, the guy I picked today to try to see if maybe he can pull off the W. I think may have a chance here. If he's going to get that 15 though, he needs to let him go by a little bit on the start and then drop down low and steal a spot, because he needs to have 15 go right away, and then he needs the 54 in the 2 to kind of mess up that start here as they bring it right around off of corner number 4. That's down to the run. We're back in the race. And that's exactly what I was just talking about right there. You see that big move? He went down to the bottom already, and the guys behind him are going to have to fight for the positions. Oh, Gawker definitely ain't making too many friends down there, though. He's putting bumpers and fenders together. He got into a little bit of Timmy Spats with the number 54, but they were able to keep it under control. The 04 Joe Lux in a heated battle right now currently as they work their way down on in here. Collins loose off of corner 2, almost loses it completely in the turn. Joe Lux now having it right at that number 2 of Gawker. Keystone saying, I know I jinxed the green flag run, and then thanks for the amazing broadcast, PTM. Well, we appreciate it, Keystone, for coming on board here, sir. Thanks again for coming to watch the show with us. Coming around town here, Scravano right now trying to make a bit of a charge here, trying to make a little bit of a move or two off of these drivers. He really is going to use that pit strategy and the pit stop he just did to get himself more in line and in touch with the field, and he knows these guys will be waiting patiently for him to make passes. A fresh set of tires on that thing will definitely do you good, and this is exactly what he wanted. He's getting every single driver just to completely move out of his way, or he's getting a whole lot of run just diving down the bottom, really just working the throttle and passing drivers left and right like they're standing still. Like the generals in the battlefields of the great wars and the great fights ahead, the 76 is marching through the field with his soldiers in arms and his tires at bay, firing on all guns and firing on all cylinders. This thing is charging like nobody's business. Ryman Castle now looking to do much the same. Quentin Haley gave up the room, gave him the opening now, and it's time for the number 1 to push his way on by. So many drivers and so many positions here to really work through and try to find angles from and hit up from every corner you can get. And it really is just a testament and a show of strength on so many levels for what they have to do or what they have to go through. Noah Healy problems down there, and the number 81 goes into the infield. Kerr opened up his own lawn care service. I'm not really sure where that came from exactly, but we will take a look at the PTM Racing replay to check it out, presented in part by the Keystone Corner. Well, looks like he drove it hard off, diamonded it up, but you can see that was not the right call. He opens up the lawn care service. I know 2021 and 2020 were rough years. I didn't realize we were still in the rough sanctuary. That just goes to show you how bad inflation is these days. Now drivers charging up for some positions here, charging up for a big runoff or two, looking for position. Collier right now looking for a run on there, but gets clipped and smack dab in the mix of things here. You know, by the way, some of these drivers are literally a lap down or literally put in with lap traffic, and they're having to fight through this field like I said earlier on. This is where things get a little hectic, a little crazy here, and trying to avoid it. And the 42, Jane Russell can't avoid this one, but there's problems down there as well for Gawker in the 2. Oh my. MRL, great broadcasting for PTM. Thank you again, guys, for the support. And let's take a look at this one here. I don't even know what happened here exactly. Let's take a look at Gawker's situation first. Then we'll go back and look at Jaden Russell. Oh, he gave a little bit of a bump and run to the 54. I don't think it was intentional there, but then you saw Jaden Russell take his little clip in there, unfortunately. Both drivers taking a bit of a head-scratching hit there. On board Jaden Russell here. And we'll go on board here with Gawker in just a second. You can see right there, no more real estate, no more room. He opened the door, but you can see in Russell's mind, he was not letting him by that easily. Unfortunately, though, that doesn't quite always work out in your favor there, I'll say that much. This isn't the Hunger Games. Not all odds are ever in your favor. Look at Gawker again. You see him just look like he found some opening, found some room, but Spatz didn't quite exactly agree with that idea. And look who's going back to the race lead. Ryman Castle and Royce Gravano will be our top 2 heavy hitters here. And Gravano, by the way, on a fresher set of tires than really anybody out here. But that doesn't mean anything. MRL saying that wasn't the wreck. Well, what was the wreck? No, MRL, you're not. It's all good. Alright, double file them up down the back straightaway here. We're ready to get down the field, back down in position. Looks like some drivers trying to find their getaway and trying to find their opening here. Looks like they got that cleared up down there. Looks like they're ready to get back to it. Off of the distance on corner number 4, back to the restart zone. 7th caution completed. Now it's time to get back to business. Ryman knows if he's going to get Gravano, he's got to get him right now because that 76 is not going to let him by that easily. I believe Ryman has been in pit road as well, considering he's right up against Gravano here in his speed. Noah Healy in the 81 and the 15. Jordan Riddick having a little tussle down there. Noah Healy with experience on this track before. I've watched him race this place with some of my colleagues and my close good drivers and friends That's one of the reasons I kind of studied this track up to see what it would be like, and they gave me a good idea of what it would be like here to race today. And you can see he's using a bit of that experience, using a bit of that youth as well to his advantage, trying to hang on down there. Oh, but there's nothing he can do about getting spun around or getting for a little tag or two. Gawker, I don't know if he's just not wanting any friends or he just doesn't care, but he is literally pushing things. He's pushing drivers to the limit here. There's definitely no love lost, I think, for Gawker nor Harrison, and Harrison is out right now. So who knows? Maybe there's just a little bit of a hard charge battle off from all drivers here. Quentin Haley getting around that 56S there, Joshua Ingram. Ingram opened the door up for him, and he let him on by. Just about 30 laps remain here right now, and I can tell you right at the moment, every single one of these drivers are looking for openings, looking for gateways, trying to find some ways around the track. And my picks right now, Lux and Haley, they're actually literally in this fight, in this fray still. I said earlier on that Lux to me seemed like the type of driver that may vote well here on this track, and he has not disappointed there. But Ryman Castle looks like he gets a piece of Riddick there. Riddick, one of fresher set of tires. Then everybody now is looking to try to get at that number 76 of Royce Gravano. Trouble down there for Jane Russell here, though. He's crashed on the back straightaway. No caution yet. But if he doesn't get it going here, there might be trouble brewing in a minute. Harrison will get it back out on the track here as well. Looks like he's not done with this matchup yet. Lux and Haley, they are dead even on the run, and now they're pushing for the momentum. Gravano really having to push himself in and put this one firing in there. Keystone, yes, Mr. Patrick Jenks has actually let us know about that. He has raced here before in street stocks, and that's why I kind of talked earlier about the street stocks running here, because it kind of coincides back to his history he has with this track. And of course, these drivers that he calls it home with, and Quinn Haley getting the number one there a little bit hard. Joe Lux, what a beautiful corner pass off of turn number 2. Great driving by the 04. He saw an opening. He struck it gold. He struck big. He struck well, and he took that one over. Haley right now kind of chop block down there. He's kind of trying to make a move around Timmy Spats, and then now around Ryman Castle. Haley and Castle kind of clipping in each other there. Looked like Haley tried to back off and give him some time to breathe. Lux was just smart enough, though, to have the presence of mind to sneak his way down on in. "25 laps left to go. Next week will be the All-Star Week race here at Lanier. Be ready for us, because we're ready to showcase to you some hard racing and battles here on the show. It should be a wild one. It should be a crazy one here. The number 2 there, Gawker, still trying to get up there with Joe Lux. You can see Gawker made a good pass as well there. Pretty clean and first aid of the situation, and I'll say. Joshua Ingram right now struggling to keep this thing online, keep it on charge. He's having all sorts of problems down there with the glitchcraft gremlins coming at him. 24 laps to go here. Things are getting pretty crazy here. Stop and go saying the 2 got tires. He's saying Gawker's got tires underneath him. If he's got tires, I can see it, but the problem is he's still a good he's got a good chunk and a half back of Riddick and Gravano. Well, that's not helping his cause any here. Let's take another blimp cam and show you this heated battle right there. You can see just the low bankment ends really forcing drivers to keep it close and keep it hard on the charge. Ryman Castle yet again. He puts a bumper to the 13. You see Haley dealing with every ounce of pressure. He's dealing with that number 1. Both drivers not giving an inch. They won't quit. Spats just watching on from a distance. Notice if he can get the chance, get the runoff here, he'll take full advantage of it. But look right up ahead. Watch out, Gravano. You have got company, my friend. And his name is Jordan Riddick. Riddick has muscled the field. He's muscled the strategy. His tire strategy just maybe a little bit better than the 76's. Gravano knows he needs help, and he needs it more than ever, or he's going to have to start really pushing some fenders together. Look at him block the bottom, defends the line, but again, he's driving way too deep, way too into it. Riddick knows he can catch him. He's giving Riddick a lot of hope and an idea here on how to pass him. He knows if he blocks down there, he's screwing up the tires and he's burning himself out of it. Both drivers in a dead heat squabble, a dead heat fight off. Neither one giving an inch. You can see Riddick, though, is starting to slowly but surely close the gap. But you can see the only reason he's giving him some distance is so that way he doesn't give him a bump and run with only so many laps left to go. He's looking for the final. He's looking for that final 10. I guarantee it. The final 10 will be where you see the 15 start to really take aim and fire at Scrivano. As we still have a heated battle going on for the third place spot. Joe Lux in the 04 trying to keep Jags in a chance here with the Toyota Camry, but the two Chevrolet, the Chevy boys, and then firing it hard right down the corners. And Gawker sees an opening, strikes it down hard. Haley's going to try to get right between them here yet again. They're going to go side by side. Fender's not touched there yet. Josh Ingram stays in pit road there, stays out of the way of the drivers, doesn't want to ruin this one for the battle ahead. Oh, there's Fenders put together though for the battle for fourth. Lux and Haley still back and forth, madness. Eric Stafford, they're driving it so hard up the track, they're opening the door for that one arriving Castle. That is hard, close corner racing to say the least, my friends. That's what you come to see and you come to expect here at Stafford. 15 laps remain. Riddick is just laying in wait, I feel. Scrivano knows he's just playing possum. He knows he can't give him any openings. If he gives him the slightest opening, this will cost him dearly. Scrivano just holding on, looking for a hero, looking for a selling in the tail, trying to hang on. You can see Riddick though, here comes the bumper, he's setting him up, he's setting it up. You can see that run coming at it, 13 to go. He's got a charge, he's got a momentum booster coming his way, he wants every piece of him. Gawker holding down third place spot by a good margin of error. Ryman Castle taking away over the fourth slot here from Quinton Haley. Quinton trying to get back out of here. Timmy Spatz also doing much of the same. The 13 of Haley right now trying to stay in line, stay in charge as the number 1 of Ryman Castle holds on. So many storylines, so much going on down on the track here. It's hard to really keep track of everything. We're down to 11. What did I say about 10 to go? Oh yeah, that's right. I said that's when Riddick's going to make his move. Well, guess what? He just found an opening. Here comes the charge. Here comes the move. No, it got blocked. Scrivano drove it harder into the entry, but maybe that might have cost him. Now to the bottom line goes the 15 here. Both drivers looking for an opening. Scrivano is desperately blocking anything he can to keep Riddick from taking it over. Riddick is going to burn tires up, and there's the opening. There it is. That's the move. Here comes Riddick on the inside. It's Mustang versus Camaro here, coming off of turn number 4. Well, I'm no expert at predicting or speculating, but I'm pretty sure I nailed that one on the spot. 10 to go. What did Riddick do? He made the charge, and he got around Scrivano. Now Scrivano must now find a way to fight it back at the 15. He is going to have to dive it in deep, but there's problems here. Timmy Spatz, the number 54, comes to a dead stop here in the front stretch here, turn number 1. And that may have been the thing Riddick absolutely did not want to see at any point or any cost here. He knew Scrivano was going to be very, very close to, and tight to take down on a short run, much less a strong run. Here's another look at it from the PTM Instant Replay. Take a look at this one that came off of corner number 4. And Spatz, unfortunately, I'm not sure if he was trying to imitate Herbie Fully Loaded or if he just literally was a little bit too loaded on the oil pipes there, but that thing drove way harder in than it needed to and ended up costing himself dearly here. We had our chase cam following those boys down there with the 13 and 54 to keep an eye on something. While our main cameras were focused in, here's what we saw. And you can just see he caught the inside of that wall there, clipped it hard, and drivers were trying to avoid him. And you can see 56S of Joshua Ingram colliding in there. Unfortunately, got a little piece of it, and now has to deal with the overwhelming presence and threat that is going to come his way. What an absolute shootout and a fight and a half. That's what you come to expect in a super late model race. That's what you come to expect and want to see out on the track. Yeah, Stop and Go says that was good racing. Indeed, indeed. The field will wrap themselves back around the track here, get themselves squared away. We are needing to put this one under the wraps, under the fire. We're going to show only the top 5 here on this final restart of the leg of the race here. We'll then bring the Tower of Doom out with the final lap to come around turn 3 and 4. We're getting settled to go. We're ready to go back at it. Off of corner number 4. Jordan Riddick, Roy Scrivano, they've been the heavy hitters, but now they get to deal with Gawker and Haley right behind them. To the green flag, we fly them. Riddick defends the bottom immediately. Nowhere to go. Scrivano and Castle will now have to fight it out a little bit. Gawker is pushing everything he's got to the limit. Scrivano got clipped in by the number 1. And Haley putting a bumper in there, trying to get him the inside. Trying to get him out of the way with 2 to go. Castle defends. He blocks it. Oh, he's still getting punted around there, though. The 13 finally gets an opening. Got him to move up just enough. And the Dark Horse 13 takes full advantage of it as we bring him to the white flag. This time on by Jordan Riddick with the race lead. Riddick is lining this one up all day long. He held nothing to it. And now, at the final corners, Quinn Haley will try to fire it off here in the final set of turns and the final corner ends. But off of turn number 4, Jordan Riddick will win here on PTM Racing TV as we go 3 wide of the line. Now that is how you get the job done. Race fans, Stafford Motor Speedway, I think we have seen a show, and we have seen a hectic battle unlike any other. And our first ever winner here at Stafford on PTM Racing TV is going to go to Jordan Riddick. Tire strategy, controlling the field and maintaining the boundaries is what gave the 15 the trip to victory lane today. Absolutely impressive performance and a great deal in speed from the 15. Gawker gave it everything he had at him, and may have not made too many friends along the way, but I don't think he really could give a hoot. There he is, gonna celebrate the only way he knows how, with quite a bit of burnouts and a little bit of a celebration dive. Let's take a look at our feature results now, presented in part by the Keystone Corner. Final results are now in, and Riddick strategy comes into play and plays it perfectly at Stafford. Gawker goes second, third to Quentin Haley. Ryman Castle goes fourth. Fifth to Roy Scrivano. Sixth to Collins. Seventh to Joe Lux. Eighth to Noah Healy. Ninth to Owen S. Collier. 10th to Timmy Spatz. That rounds out the top 10. This one today. Out of the 18 drivers that made the call on the field, what a performance by all involved. There is just one last thing to do. I'm going to run down here real quick to pit road and have a lesson in with our drivers here, the top three. Join me here now on the show and join me here now on the track. We're about to listen into them here. We're about to get a good glimpse at what they thought about this one here as your third place finisher today. Quinn Haley now joins me on the show here. Quinn, congratulations here on this one. What a performance and a battle here for you and your crew. You definitely had to give this one a fight and a half here.
Thank you. That was really tough. I'm over here sweating. I'm out of breath. It feels like I actually just got done with a real race. I'm kind of surprised. Yeah, I didn't do so hot in qualifying. I messed up both my laps, forgot to adjust my brake bias, and started to work my way up in the heat, and it really just came down to just kind of being a slugfest between me and those P1 guys. So really, really happy with that comeback from that abysmal qualifying.
You had a pretty good comeback indeed with the P1 guys. Speaking of a one, let's talk about this one. You literally, on the final two laps here, you and Ryman Castle, it's narrow close corner action. You two are bumping, banging, and putting fenders together. You managed to get the one to finally sneak up just a little bit off turn two. You see the opening and go for the shot. At that point, did you just think to yourself, if I could just hang on, can this thing pull it into a top three?
Well, to kind of back up to that last restart, I mean, I knew I had somewhat fresher right side tires than everyone else, so I was just kind of hoping I could put the pressure on and just maintain that third. And then on that restart, Ryman just on my inside out of nowhere. And then I think it was just kind of pressuring him into making that mistake. He got really loose off the corner of two. Just managed to shoot on by.
And shoot on by, you both did indeed, but you were the one that come out on top of this one. So, Quinn, as you come away here today with the third place finish, I will ask you this, sir. Who do you want to thank for this?
First of all, I'd like to thank Patrick James for putting this on. I'd like to thank you for broadcasting. And then I'd like to thank my real sponsors, Lethal Chassis, Fraternal Order of Eagles, Leaf Filter Gutter Protection, Matthew Logan Shocks, and Dark Horse Race Cars.
Well, nevertheless, I think you made them proud. I think you definitely have made quite the showing for you and your crew here today. Quentin, congratulations on this third place finish.
Thank you.
Quentin Haley, ladies and gentlemen, your third place finisher here today. He'll come away third. Second will go to a surprising little favor here as he kind of pushes it through the end. Jimmy Gawker on the number 2 here. And Gawker, congratulations on the second place finish. And I'm just going to say this, my friend. There was a few times you were putting some bumpers and some hard racing in between. But, boy, it all worked out in the end to get that second place finish, didn't it?
Yeah, I was not a top 2 car. I wasn't a wonderful car tonight. Royce and Jordan, they were the class of the field tonight. I had a third place car tonight. And at short tracks, you got to give a little bumpers. You got to move some people out of the way. Like, later, maybe 15 laps to go, my teammate David was in front of me. I had to give him the bumper to get him out of the way. It's just what do you got to do in short track racing?
All about trying to race there, all your friends close and your enemies a little closer.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I don't think you quite made very many friends out here, Gawker, but I don't think you really care. This second place finish, though, pretty impressive here at Stafford. I mean, if there's anything really to go off for the All-Star race next week, what's it going to be for you and your crew then?
I don't know what track we're at next week. I'm going to be honest, the All-Star race. But I'll figure out and see what we can do and maybe get some testing in.
All right, testing indeed coming up your way. But today you come away second at a solid performance. So, Gawker, who do you want to thank here for the second place finish?
Ryman Castle, David Lux, Jordan Riddick, Jane James, Zach Woods, Chandler Hutchins, everyone from P1 Forums and Jimmy Gawker Racing, just working hard every week, every day on iRacing and trying to get each other better.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, Gawker, congratulations on the second place finish. Very well deserved, sir.
Thank you.
Jimmy Gawker comes away with the W. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I believe it is time to talk with your race winner today and the number 15. Give it up for Jordan Riddick. And Riddick, what a debut, man, and what a showcase you put on. You're the first winner here at Stafford on our show, and really, this was just boiled down to one thing: absolute strategy to lead to the dominance, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Like, if I pitted when Royce did, I don't think I would have had anything for him. So I tried to stay out later, get tires, so I'd have newer tires later on in the run, and it worked out for me.
Certainly indeed. Now I know there was really a lot of hard battling there throughout this race, but let's just talk about this for a second. You and Scrivano, coming up to that 10 to go, I called it in the race. I said I think it's going to be Riddick going to go for the hard charge and the big move with only 10 to go. You go into turn number 2, you got an opening, you sneak him down on the back straightaway, and then it was pretty much from there, hope for the car to stay in line, stay in touch, but then the late caution came out. What went through your mind then?
At that point in time, I was pretty confident in our car because I knew we had better tires and our car was a little bit better there than Royce's. So I felt pretty confident. I was just worried about the third place car catching me, and I think it was Jimmy Gawker, but we held on to it.
You held on to it. You pulled off an impressive performance and a great finish. So, Riddick, you're the first winner ever here on PTM Racing TV with the Stafford Motor Speedway side of things. Let me ask you this, sir. Who do you want to thank for that?
I got a lot of people to thank. A&A Express, Luxury Oldie Group, Jack Swax, Ernest Performance, Swift, the boys back at the shop, P1 Performance, and Jimmy Gawker Racing.
For sure there. All right. Well, Jordan, congratulations on this one. Well deserved and earned, sir. And we hope to see you next time on out.
Thank you.
Jordan Rigg, ladies and gentlemen, is going to pull away with the W and the victory. And a big thank you to everybody that tuned on in here again. Thanks so much for the support and the comments. They are well deserved, and thank you. Also, if I hadn't already said enough, thank you everyone for the birthday wishes on the 14th. I really do appreciate it. It kind of made me choke up a little bit from the post there that my boss threw up and kind of shared around. It meant a lot to me, and it still chokes me up. But a big thank you to all of them and you fans at home. Thank you again to the Keystone Corner for the showcase here today. And we really do appreciate you all here today. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate 316 Day, remember what Stone Cold always says. Stay good, be safe, take care of yourself, and that's the bottom line. Like a Stone Cold said so.